My wife decided to leave and asked me not to look for her. I accepted her decision until she showed up furious at my door days later. I started working in construction at 22 as a helper. It wasn't that I was fascinated by the 80-hour work weeks, but I knew I needed to build something better than what I had received. My father abandoned us when I was just 4 years old. Since then, it was just my mother and me living in a small one-bedroom apartment with heating that failed half the winter. I watched her juggle everything to make every dollar stretch the impossible. By 25, I had mastered several trades: plumbing, basic electricity, structures, drywall, enough to consider myself dangerously useful. I had saved enough to start night classes and business administration. My friends Tomas and Sergio were in a similar situation. They knew how to work with their hands, but were sick of watching others get rich off their effort. So, at 27, we pooled our savings, $17,000 each, which felt like a fortune at the time, and launched our own renovation company. At first, we did everything: fixing faucets, patching holes in walls, building decks, any job that would let us pay the bills. Our office was my garage, 3 folding tables, and a coffee maker that stopped working every third day. We ate frozen food, worked endless days, and moved like our lives depended on it, because, in truth, they did. We had no safety net, no one with money to rescue us. We were 3 guys with rough hands and a lot of dreams.
Our first big boast came at 8 months when we got an undervalued job to renovate a kitchen. The client was a lawyer, Mr. Esteban Montero, a Harvard graduate, smart, direct, but relaxed. He liked our work, although he warned us that the contracts we were using were a disaster. One lawsuit and we'd be on the street. I offered to renovate his bathroom in exchange for legal advice. He declined the remodel but offered to help us with the documents for a reasonable fee. That was the start of a solid friendship and the legal framework that would end up saving us in the future. In the second year, Esteban helped us legally incorporate the company, create liability clauses, and draft contracts to protect us. Thanks to a recommendation of his, we managed to sign with a medium-sized real estate company looking for reliable contractors. That's when everything started to take off. 5 years later, that small company was a different story. 32 employees, 3 site supervisors, a real office downtown, and 7-figure annual profits. My history with Sofia began long before that success. I met her 7 years ago at a charity event when my business was still fighting to survive. She worked in public relations for a tech startup. She had an impressive presence, confident, elegant, attractive, always well-dressed, and with that ability to make everyone around her feel comfortable. 6 months later, we were living together. Within a year, we got married. The ceremony was simple, with about 60 guests.
The first few years were good. We both worked hard, supported each other, and bought a house in my name before the marriage, luckily. While I expanded the company, she climbed in her career. We traveled, enjoyed good times surrounded by friends, and had the feeling of building something genuine. But everything changed when the company signed a $12 million contract. In an instant, my income tripled, and although the differences were subtle at first, they soon became evident. Sofia started eating out with colleagues more frequently. Then came the complaints. Her boss was toxic, her colleagues envied her. "It bothers them that I am a woman and competent," she said with disdain. Prolonged outings also appeared with the excuse of networking. When I texted to see if she would be late, sometimes she replied hours later, "Sorry, I'm with clients." The reality was different. Her interest in her work diminished, while her enthusiasm for the lifestyle my income permitted increased. One night during dinner, she told me she no longer felt fulfilled in PR. I suggested she take on a more challenging role in her company, and she almost got offended. "You don't understand. I need to do something that really means something to me." I encouraged her to find what motivated her, but instead of exploring while keeping her job, she decided to quit without any plan. According to her, she couldn't focus on her future if she remained trapped in a toxic present. 2 months of inner searching, shopping, and spa days ended in a great revelation. She wanted to be a personal image consultant. She had always had good tastes and, according to her, some friends asked her for fashion advice. I invested $7,500 in her new venture for an exclusive certification, plus about $15,000 in initial inventory, website, photo shoots, and business cards. She was excited, and I was happy to see her enthusiastic.
But after 6 months, the spark went out. Clients were demanding, and running her own business turned out to be harder than she imagined. She began taking personal days to deal with the stress. When I suggested she keep a schedule or create a marketing plan, she responded annoyedly, "This isn't construction. Creative work doesn't function with routines." While I dealt with construction sites, clients, employees, and marathon workdays, she spent afternoons on the sofa surrounded by luxury brand shopping bags. When I asked about a $4,700 charge at an exclusive store, she responded with annoyance, "It's an investment for my brand. I wouldn't expect you to understand marketing." Our intimate life, which in its best years was intense, became almost non-existent. We went from having relations several times a week to once every 2 weeks, and only if she wanted it. It always felt like a favor. If I mentioned it, she reacted defensively. "Is that really the only thing you care about? You're pressuring me." And she would lock herself away for 2 hours to take a bath. It was a pattern. Every time I questioned something, she made me feel like I was the problem. Everything got worse when Valeria appeared, a 37-year-old woman, twice divorced, who became her best friend. From the moment I met her, I knew the type of person she was. She dressed in designer clothes, lived for the mirror, and had a laugh as fake as it was condescending. Her Instagram was a catalog of luxuries with no visible source of income. She lived off divorce settlements and knew how to maintain that lifestyle. She didn't take long to fill Sophia's head with phrases like, "know your value," and "men should provide." Valeria had an unofficial doctorate in financial opportunism with a specialization in exploiting legal settlements, and she was Sophia's brand new life coach. Since they started spending more time together, everything changed. Weekends were now getaways to Las Vegas, wine routes through Napa, and limitless shopping sprees, all paid for by me. Sophia returned telling anecdotes about men who bought them drinks in clubs or sent them bottles for simple fun.
But the spending wasn't the only worrying thing. Sophia had started adopting Valeria's way of thinking. She said things like, "Men must understand that supporting their wife financially isn't an option, it's the minimum." Or, "Valeria says a real man doesn't question what his wife spends." Suddenly, I realized something didn't fit. She turned her phone screen away every time she typed. Her Instagram filled with gym photos. She didn't even try to hide it. Shortly after, she started talking about a supposed new client, Jordan, a personal trainer with thousands of followers on social media who needed image consulting for his fitness brand. The sessions between them extended longer than necessary. She returned late with a masculine perfume that wasn't mine. I'm not naive, but I don't launch accusations without proof. Still, something told me to be alert. My partner Tomas noticed the change. "Are you okay? Lately you're somewhere else," he told me, after I made mistakes on some blueprints. He warned me that his cousin had lost half his company because of an ex who only brought demands and problems. That was when I decided to start taking notes on everything: dates, expenses, behaviors. Something told me a storm was coming, and I wasn't wrong. For the next 3 months, Sophia was physically home but mentally absent, glued to the phone, ignoring me, taking decisions without consulting me. We hadn't had intimacy for over 2 months. One night, I tried to approach her, and she laughed. "Don't even dream of it. I have a meeting early." Then she stayed up until dawn watching series. She began criticizing my clothes, my friends, my decisions. "You should let me advise you. Those jeans don't work anymore," she said with disdain. Meanwhile, she spent thousands on her business. One afternoon, while I was reviewing budgets, she said, "If you had more business vision, you would hire someone to do that for you. Jordan says successful people delegate." Jordan, again. I already understood where this was going.
There were two key moments that confirmed what I already suspected. First, one Thursday, I arrived early from a site at 2 p.m. I found Sophia and Valeria sitting in the kitchen talking over sparkling water. "Just make sure to have your exit well organized. First, put your finances in order," Valeria was saying. "My second husband tried to hide assets, but my lawyer found everything. They always think they're smarter." Upon seeing me, they went mute. Sophia forced a fake smile. I asked what exit they were planning, and Valeria replied they were helping a friend get out of a toxic marriage. I didn't believe them for a second. That night, I called Esteban Montero. I told him everything. He didn't hesitate. "She plans to leave and keep as much as possible. We must get ahead of it, but everything must be done legally." The next morning, we designed a plan. Document emotional, financial, and physical abandonment. Protect assets acquired before marriage, and gather evidence without violating the law. For 3 weeks, I followed instructions. I recorded the value of my company, detailing how much it had grown thanks to my premarital investments. I installed cameras in common areas, legally permitted. I tracked her absences, the constant rejections of intimacy, and the evident disinterest. I also collected receipts of her excessive spending, more than $7,000 in gifts for Jordan in just 3 months, including trips she called business development. The other breaking point was when her cell phone vibrated while she was showering. A preview appeared on the screen, a message from Jordan. "I can't wait for next week when we don't have to hide anymore." I took a quick screenshot. I didn't say anything yet. It was vital that she be the one to take the first step. Formal abandonment would strengthen my legal position.
The following Monday began like any other. I bought a couple of good steaks for dinner and went home. Sophia had been distant all weekend, glued to her cell phone, going out with vague excuses. I feigned tranquility. I was at the grill when she returned from another one of those business lunches with Valeria. According to her Instagram stories, they had passed 6 hours drinking on an elegant terrace. She entered without looking at me much, checking her phone, and then she let it out bluntly. "I'm moving out tonight. I need space." Just like that, as if she were ordering a coffee. I stopped turning the steaks and looked at her. To my surprise, I didn't feel rage or confusion, but a kind of tranquility. The moment had finally arrived. When I asked where she planned to go, she let out a sigh with a tone of annoyance. "Jordan is going to help me with a place to stay, the personal trainer I've been advising. He has a spare room." The same client she had been cheating on me with for months. And that supposed spare room was clearly his bed. "If that's what you want," I replied, without raising my voice, returning to the steaks which were starting to burn. She seemed disconcerted by my serenity, as if she had expected begging or tears. "I'm serious. Don't look for me. I need to clear my head, on my own." "Okay," I said. "It's your decision." She grabbed her suitcase and the keys to the Range Rover, leased through my company for $1,100 a month, and left without looking back. 7 years ended, just like that.
I ate alone in the kitchen and took a moment to process everything. Then, I immediately activated the plan Esteban and I had prepared. I texted him, "She just left. It's time." His response was immediate. "She took the bait. Document everything now while it's fresh." I recorded a video relating exactly what had happened, stating she was leaving for Jordan's apartment and asked me not to contact her. I saved the security footage of her packing and leaving voluntarily. I called the building manager to confirm her access code had been used to exit, creating a record of voluntary abandonment. The next morning, Esteban arrived early with the divorce papers ready. We filed them that same day. Then came the financial execution. I canceled her additional Amex Platinum,
the one she had maxed out 3 times that year on luxury purchases. One call to the concierge and it was deactivated. Then the Visa Black, gone. I eliminated the automatic transfer of $4,000 a month from my company account to hers. Click, canceled. I didn't remove her from the phone plan, but I deactivated international roaming and premium services. Sophia used to show off from VIP lounges in Paris or Milan, trips that were actually shopping vacations with Valeria. End of that, too. I called my accountant and asked him to remove Sophia as an authorized driver of the Range Rover and start the paperwork to return it. I spent the next 2 hours closing everything down. I changed passwords for Netflix, Amazon, home security. I transferred money from our shared account to my private account and secured investments. She wanted space. I was giving her interstellar distance. Esteban and I had prepared a file with proofs, recordings of her 2 a.m. arrivals, proof of progressive abandonment, and misuse of joint money. When Esteban asked how long until she reacted, I told him to wait until the cards stopped working.
That same afternoon, I gathered my work team, Tomas and Sergio, my partners, and told them I was going through a divorce. They offered their support immediately. Just make sure the business is protected, Sergio added. We all have families dependent on this. I assured them everything was covered. That night, I slept better than I had in months. For the next 3 days, I enjoyed absolute silence. I met with our corporate lawyer, updated my will, changed the locks, packed Sophia's things carefully, and cleared the bathroom of her 100 products. I focused on myself. Gym before work, cooking at home, calling my mom without interruptions. Then came Thursday night. Someone banged on the door with force at 9:30 p.m. I looked at the security camera. It was Sophia. Hair messy, no Range Rover. Karma had arrived faster than express shipping. I opened the door, but didn't let her in. Esteban had a process server waiting in the street. The card was declined. The Amex was with Jordan and some clients. It was humiliating, she shouted. Calm down. All cards and transfers have been canceled. What? Why did you do that? That money is mine too. I reminded her she had decided to leave and was no longer part of this household. She started feigning tears. You can't do this to me. We're married. Half is mine. My lawyer will destroy you. I signaled the process server. He's here. When I mentioned I had filed for divorce, her face changed from fury to panic. She tried to justify herself, denying it was about Jordan, saying she only wanted a breather. I interrupted her, took out my phone, and played a legal recording where she admitted she was going to live with Jordan and wanted no contact. Then I showed her the file of abandonment. The process server handed her the divorce papers. She realized she was no longer in control. You're going to regret this. Without my contacts, you'd still be working in a garage. From the camera, I watched her lose it. She kicked a flower pot, hurt her foot, and tore up the divorce papers. Finally, an Uber arrived. She left limping and insulting. If there was an award for best tantrum over a declined card, Sophia would have won it.
The following week was a parade of chaos. Calls to my office from Sophia demanding to speak to me about a financial emergency or a family emergency. Her mother was supposedly hospitalized. A lie. My project manager blocked her number. Friends took sides. One guy, Trevor, lectured me on saving the marriage despite cheating on his own girlfriend twice. Then began the social media campaign. Sophia updated her bio to Healing from Trauma and posted about financial abuse. She even launched a GoFundMe titled Escaping Financial Abuse with a $50,000 goal. She raised $237 before Esteban sent a cease and desist letter with proof of her voluntary departure and excessive spending. But the real challenge was Valeria. She called me screaming from a hidden number. Nobody respects a man who abandons his wife. I replied calmly, she left voluntarily to live with another man. Valeria threatened me with her star lawyer, Bradley. When I mentioned Jordan and the evident affair, she went silent. Apparently, she didn't know about him. Jordan is just helping her. He's a gentleman, she tried to correct herself. She demanded I return Sophia's things. I told her they were packed
and she could collect them with an appointment, a witness, and a signed inventory. I also reminded Valeria that her attempt to force the door open with an old key, caught on camera, was trespassing. Days later, Sophia appeared at one of our construction sites, trying to talk to clients. I arrived, ignored her, and got to work. Later, I received a threat from an unknown number. "Watch out, I know people who can ruin your life." We added it to the file. Then came fake negative reviews on Google and Yelp. Esteban had them removed in 24 hours and filed a police report for threats and defamation. The following week, Sophia's mother appeared at my office, crying, saying her daughter was confused and made a mistake. I reminded her that Sophia left a life of luxury and a $50,000 credit limit for a studio apartment with a personal trainer. That's not confusion, it's a plan that went wrong.
The following months were like a legal drama. Sophia requested $2,000 on Venmo for an emergency. Declined. Her lawyer, Bradley, demanded $12,000 monthly in temporary alimony plus the Range Rover, denying the infidelity. Esteban laughed. We responded with a legally solid offer, a one-time payment of $5,000 if she signed a total waiver. Bradley sent threats. Esteban replied with proofs, dated recordings of constructive abandonment, and records showing Sophia spent over $90,000 the last year on herself without contributing to the home. We presented business valuation reports proving the company's growth was due solely to my premarital investment and 60-hour work weeks. The company was separate property. Suddenly, Sophia's lawyer changed his tone from "see you in court" to "willing to negotiate." Meanwhile, I rebuilt my life. Training, reconnecting with friends, securing 2 major contracts. I even started restoring a classic Dodge, something Sophia always hated. My partners noticed. "Divorce suits you well," said Tomas. Sophia finally scheduled a visit to pick up her things. She brought Jorgen, who looked uncomfortable standing in the entrance, and Valeria. It was tense. Sophia tried to claim my Rolex, a gift from my partners. "No, Sophia, that was a gift from my partners," I said. Watching them try to fit suitcases into Jordan's Tesla Model 3 was like a reverse clown car. "The Range Rover would have been useful today," I said. They had to call an Uber XL. 6 months later came the trial. Sophia appeared dressed modestly, trying to look like a devoted wife. Her lawyer argued I controlled her financially, and she sacrificed her career. Esteban destroyed that defense, showing her social media posts of executive time by the pool in Miami with Valeria during work hours. The judge ruled that the business was a premarital venture where she had minimal participation. The sentence was a one-time payment for Sophia, barely 5% of what she asked for. I kept the company and the house with no alimony. The prenup held up. Leaving court, I heard Jordan tell her they needed to talk about their living situation because his budget couldn't cover her expenses. Surprise, surprise. I sold the house and bought a modern loft downtown. Business is better than ever. Until 3 weeks ago, the doorbell rang on a Tuesday night. I saw on the camera it was Sophia, alone. No brand name clothes, no perfect makeup, no arrogant attitude. She had lost it all. I opened the door, but stayed in the frame. "What do you want, Sophia?" "I need help," she whispered. "Jordan and I broke up. He was using me. A friend is hosting me but wants me to leave next week. I can't afford a place alone. I ran out of money, spent it on investments Valeria recommended. Valeria won't even answer me. My parents don't want to know anything." Then came the attempt to win me back. "I made a mistake. We could try again." "That's not going to happen," I replied calmly. "Then could you lend me some money? Just until I stabilize. I have an interview at Nordstrom next week." I looked at her. This was the woman who swore I would regret leaving her, who tried to take half my company. "You wanted freedom and independence," I told her. "Now you have them. Good luck with the interview." I closed the door. Are you really going to leave me with nothing?" she said from the other side. I opened it slightly. "No, Sophia, you left yourself with nothing. I am just respecting your decision." And I closed the door forever. I learned that it's not always about fighting or winning, but about letting go with dignity, putting up boundaries and not allowing those who failed you to have power over your life again. She chose her path, I chose mine. From where I am now, I can say I didn't make a mistake in closing that door.
Thanks for reading my story. If you enjoyed this roller coaster and want to hear more real-life dramas and justice stories, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And now I want to hear from you. Have you ever dealt with a toxic ex or someone who tried to take advantage of your generosity after a breakup? Let me know your experience in the comments below. I'll be reading them.